Coming to you live with managing partner Guy Harrison Murray. We'll be talking a little bit about some personal experiences that we have with the European slot system. We did a couple segments on our previous videos talking about how the slot system in Europe works and how it differentiated from the system that we have here in the US. And now we're going to talk a little bit about our personal experiences.
Hey, I'm Guy. I'm the managing partner here at PorterJets. And yeah, I guess one of my experiences has been I had a client flying from Barcelona to London, and his flight was scheduled for 9 a.m. and he arrived at 9:02 a.m. So only 2 minutes late. But because then of having to go through like the customs, checking passports, and then the taxi time, it meant that they were actually only able to get to the runway by 9:30. Slot didn't allow for 9:30. It meant his flight ended up being delayed till 3 p.m. So a 2 minute arrival, 2 minute late arrival ended up being a almost 6-7 hour delay because of the slots. So
What's the lesson learned at that point?
arrive, especially for international flights, but even flights in Europe, make sure you arrive at least 15 minutes early. In the US, it doesn't matter so much. You can arrive at the time your plane's going to depart. That's not a slot issue in the US. But for Europe, it's much more problematic to the point if you arrive 2 minutes late, even though it seems minimal, that can delay your slot time, means you miss your slot time, and the next slot time they had was hours and hours later. And for such a short little flight.
I had a customer that was trying to get from Mykonos to Rome. The reason why they were trying to get to Rome is because they were catching a commercial flight from Rome back to the US. It was very important that they arrive at a certain time in order for them to catch the commercial flight. And in the back of my mind, this was, first of all, they gave us 24 hours notice to get them to Rome. I guess their connecting flight got canceled. So in the back of my mind, I was like, crap, like this is going to be almost impossible because I know that slots departing out of Mykonos are incredibly hard to get, especially at peak travel times. And also arrival slots at LIRA in Rome are incredibly hard to get as well. So we did everything that we could to offer him the exact time of departure that he wanted. He was checking out of his villa at 12 noon and wanted to get to Rome by, before 2 p.m. His flight was at 5 p.m. And unfortunately, those slots were just not available. So instead, we had to offer him a 6 a.m. departure. So I'm pretty sure he didn't sleep the night before and just caught a taxi over to Mykonos for the 6 a.m. slot. But we made it work, and he was flexible, and that's something that we ask of all of our clients, especially for last minute flights.
Another key thing to remember too is Europe has per passenger taxes. And if you try and add a passenger very last minute, it resets the whole paperwork. They have to. So this client actually had another client flying from, I think it was somewhere in Portugal back to the US. And the issue they had is they wanted to bring their nanny on board last minute, and they arrived early, perfectly. They got there 20 minutes before, but they wanted to add a passenger with about 15 minutes before takeoff. That meant that all the paperwork had to be done again, and sure enough, because of the additional paperwork, the customs, and everything like that, it meant that they missed their slot. So yeah, for Europe, it is much more tricky than the US. Arrive on time. If you're going to have any changes to your itinerary, adding passengers, removing passengers, it's really important to let us know ahead of time so that we can inform the operators and they can ensure that paperwork is all done and filed properly so you're available and ready to go for that departure slot that you have on board.
Slots, not easy to get. Slots, not easy to maintain. Arrive early. And we appreciate your time. Thank you.